Welcome back to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and really get you those core insights you need.
That's the plan.
And today, we're diving deep into something really crucial, especially if you're a Dr. Sam Pack College of Business student. But honestly, it's key for anyone interested in management, business operations, MIS stuff.
Absolutely. We're tackling the module making decisions within management information systems.
Our goal here, our mission, is to help you really get a handle on the key concepts, the big ideas from this area, stuff that'll really help you out as a future business pro.
And just to be clear up front, everything we're talking about today, all these insights, they come straight from the textbook, Connect Master, Management Information Systems. That's by Richard Tedmon and Tedmon Wilhelm, McGraw Hill, 2024 edition.
Right. We're aiming to help you understand it, not just, memorize definitions.
Exactly.
So get ready. We're going to look at decision-making maybe a bit differently today. But before we jump right in, please do remember, like, subscribe, follow, share this deep dive, comment too. Let us know what you think.
Join the conversation.
Okay, let's get started. Let's unpack this whole idea of making decisions. I mean, it's something we're doing constantly, right?
This kind.
From deciding whether to hit snooze or actually get out of bed or, coffee versus tea, little thing.
And thankfully, most of those personal ones, they aren't exactly earth-shattering.
Right. But in a business context, wow, a single decision, even a seemingly small one, can sometimes, it can make or break the company.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about a really bad call, like ending up with a warehouse stacked high with unsold winter coats when spring hits.
Oof. Yeah.
Or maybe a flawed policy decision that ends up costing you your best employees, your top talent. Managers, they don't just make these decisions in a vacuum. They live with the outcomes, the consequences, those ripple effects.
They really bear the brunt of it. Their job is to make sure the team, the company, actually thrives. It's a high-stakes game where good judgment is just essential.
It really is.
And it's not always about the huge, grand strategies either. Henry Fayol, one of the sort of founding fathers of management theory, he laid out those 5 classic functions: planning, organizing, coordinating, deciding, and controlling.
Mm-hmm.
The classics. What's really interesting is how much of a manager's actual day, which is often super fast-paced, fragmented, lots of little tasks, how much of it boils down to that deciding part.
Yeah, they're constantly pulling in information, usually quick, specific bits, and often they prefer just talking to someone directly rather than waiting for some formal report.
Makes sense. They need to be nimble.
Right, they have to connect with all sorts of different people inside and outside the company just to keep things moving forward.
So if we zoom in a bit on those roles, what does that look like?
Well, you can really break down management roles into 3 main buckets. First, you've got interpersonal roles. This is where managers are leaders.
Like figureheads.
Exactly. Sometimes representing the business to outsiders, like investors or partners. But also internally, they're the ones motivating the team, supporting people, guiding employees. They're sort of the face and, you could say, the heart of their group.
Okay, interpersonal. What's next?
Then you have the informational roles.
Okay.
Think of the manager here as like the central hub, the nerve center for information in the organization.
Processing everything.
Yeah, taking in data, understanding it, and crucially, disseminating it, making sure the right info gets to the right people at the right time so everyone's kind of on the same page.
Got it. And the third?
And the third, which is really core to our chat today, is decisional roles. This is where managers kick off new strategies, new objectives. They decide, where the company or the department is heading next.
The actual decision-making part.
Right. They also handle conflicts, sort things out when disagreements pop up. And, super important, they allocate resources. The budget, basically. They decide who gets what funding, what tools, what time to actually achieve those strategic goals.
That's where the rubber meets the road, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Okay, so decisions are everywhere. Managers are constantly making them. But this kind of brings up a big question, right? How do we, humans, with all our biases and feelings, stack up against, automated decision-making? Because computers are getting pretty powerful.
That's a huge point. Even when we try our best, have all the data, we humans still process everything through our own personal filters, our background, our experiences.
Our gut feelings.
Exactly. Intuition, perception, feelings, they all play a role, sometimes more than we realize. It's not always just the cold, hard facts driving the decision. And, most managers tend to be a bit risk-averse by nature.
They play it safe.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah.
They'd often prefer a known outcome, even if it's slightly less optimal, over a big gamble with a potentially higher payoff, but also higher risk.
Which makes sense from a certain perspective.
Sure, and that's precisely why companies develop risk management systems. They're trying to inject more objectivity, trying to mitigate some of that human bias, that inherent caution in the decision process. Think of it like guardrails.
Okay, so while we're dealing with our human filters, there's this other massive trend. The sheer volume of data out there now. Internet, IoT devices, automation. It's staggering.
It really is. And that's pushed us into what's called high-velocity automated decision-making. Here, it's not really a person making the call anymore, not for certain types of decisions anyway.
It's the machines.
It's the computers running algorithms and software. These systems are designed to spot issues, figure out solutions, and implement programs incredibly quickly.
Like split-second decisions.
Milliseconds, sometimes. The focus is purely on transactional speed. Think about flagging a potentially fraudulent credit card purchase the instant it happens, or optimizing bids for online ads in real time.
No coffee breaks needed for the algorithm.
Exactly. No gut feelings, just programmed rules and data.
Okay, let's maybe shift gears slightly and talk about the kinds of decisions managers face. Because they're not all the same, are they?
Not at all. There's a big difference between routine stuff and the really big calls.
So let's use our outdoor gear store example again. Say it's peak ski season, snowshoes are flying off the shelves, the manager sees inventory getting low.
Right. That leads to a structured decision.
It's pretty routine.
The question might be something like, okay, if snowshoe stock drops below, say, 100 pairs, should I place another order?
Seems straightforward.
It usually is. The manager uses clear data, probably from their inventory system, maybe past sales figures, plus their own judgment based on experience. The path is relatively clear.
But then you've got the other kind.
Right, the unstructured decisions.
Yeah.
These are usually the domain of higher-level management. They're significant, they're definitely not routine, and they often have really far-reaching consequences for the company. And crucially, there's often no predefined playbook or guideline for making them.
So, back to our store. An unstructured decision could be, like, the CEO suddenly decides, hey, I just got into yoga. Let's ditch all the speaker displays in January and put up yoga mats and blocks instead.
Whoa, yeah, that's a perfect example of unstructured. There's probably zero historical data to tell you how swapping skis for yoga gear in the middle of winter will play out.
No procedure manual for that one.
Definitely not. It's a major non-routine choice that could totally change the business's focus and performance. It requires deep thinking, maybe some serious analysis, but not based on established rules.
That's a really clear contrast. And for those really complex, maybe unstructured calls, managers need some tools, right? Some frameworks.
They do. And one very powerful tool you might come across in your studies or career is the balanced scorecard method.
Balanced scorecard, okay?
Yeah, it's a really popular way to structure an organization's strategic plans and goals. The key thing is, it doesn't just look at the financial bottom line. It uses measurable outcomes across 4 distinct areas.
4 areas, what are they?
Okay, so first, you've got the obvious one, financial outcomes. This is your revenue, expenses, ROI, net income, cash flow, return on the money stuff.
Standard metrics.
Right. But then second, you have internal business processes. This looks at how efficiently the company is actually running. Things like quality control, inventory turns, resource efficiency, how quickly you get things done.
Operational efficiency. Makes sense.
Third is learning and growth.
Yeah.
This delves into the organizational culture, the people side. Are employees getting trained? Are you retaining good people? Are they satisfied? You might even look at things like diversity ratios or compensation structures here.
So the health of the organization itself.
Exactly. And finally, the fourth area is customers. What's happening with your buyers? Are they happy? Are they sticking around? How well are you delivering your products or services? What's the customer perception of your performance?
It sounds really holistic. It forces you to look beyond just profit.
That's the genius of it. It uses key performance indicators, KPIs for each area, forcing managers to measure success from multiple perspectives. It helps prevent that tunnel vision where you only focus on the financials and maybe miss crucial issues elsewhere.
Okay, so whether it's a structured decision like ordering more snowshoes or a big unstructured one like that yoga gear pivot, or even using a tool like the balanced scorecard,
Yeah.
there's one thing that underpins everything.
Let me guess. Information quality.
You got it. Information quality. It doesn't matter how smart your managers are or how fancy your decision support tools are if the information you're feeding into the process is, well, garbage.
Garbage in, garbage out. It's a classic saying for a reason. This is absolutely critical. The data management body of knowledge, DMBOK, they have a formal definition for data quality.
Lay it on us.
Okay. They say it's the planning, implementation, and control of activities that apply quality management techniques to data in order to assure it is fit for consumption and meets the needs of data consumers.
Okay, translate that into plain English.
Basically, it means your data isn't just there, it has to be good. It has to be reliable, accurate, and actually usable for making decisions. It needs to meet the needs of the people who are going to use it, the managers, the analysts, you.
Like calibrating your compass before you hike into the woods.
Perfect analogy. You need to trust your instruments, your data.
How do you know if your data is good? How do you measure that quality?
There are generally 6 key characteristics people look at. First is accuracy. Simple enough. Does the data actually reflect what's happening in the real world? Is that sales number correct or is it off?
Okay, accuracy. Number 1.
Second, completeness. Is all the information you intended to capture actually there? Are there missing fields, missing records? Is it structured properly?
Right, missing phone numbers in a customer list, maybe.
Exactly. Third is relevance.
Yeah.
Is this data actually useful for the task at hand, for the decision you need to make right now?
Yeah.
Old data might be accurate but irrelevant today.
Makes sense.
Fourth, validity. Is the data in the correct format? Was it collected using legitimate methods? If you have dates entered as text or zip codes with letters in them, that's a validity issue. You need to trust how it was gathered too.
Okay, format and collection method. Got it.
Fifth is timeliness. Is the data available when you need it? Is it up to date enough to reflect current conditions? Sales data from last quarter might not be timely enough for deciding on this week's promotion.
Like our example earlier, swimsuit sales data in December isn't timely for ski season decisions.
Precisely. And finally, sixth is consistency. Does the data mean the same thing and look the same way across different systems or databases? If customer A is spelled 3 different ways in 3 different systems, that's an inconsistency.
And that leads to errors, confusion.
Big time. Imagine that manager, again, getting a complaint about swim goggles in mid-December. The customer can barely remember buying them, maybe last June. The available report just shows June swim sales.
That info is, what, nice.
Anecdotal, definitely incomplete, clearly not timely, and probably not relevant to the current ski season focus.
Trying to make a decision based on that is just guessing.
Flying blind. It highlights why focusing on these 6 dimensions of data quality is so foundational for good decision-making.
Which is exactly why management information systems, MIS, are so important, right? They're designed to help provide that quality information and support decisions, especially for those middle and operational managers dealing with more structured problems.
Absolutely. MIS provides all sorts of reports tailored to help them. For instance, you have exception reports. These are great because they automatically flag anything that's outside the norm, any outliers or significant deviations.
Like a sudden spike or drop in sales for one product.
Exactly. Catches your attention immediately. Then there are production reports.
Yeah.
These track how things are going operationally, current production levels, predicted levels, how you're doing against your targets, keeps things on track.
And forecasting.
Yep, forecasting reports. These use historical data and models to give you a glimpse into the future, trying to predict demand, sales trends, things like that. Helps with planning.
And beyond just standard reports, MIS often includes tools for deeper analysis too, right?
Oh, sure. Tools like pivot tables, for example. They let you take a big data set and slice and dice it in different ways, look at it from multiple dimensions. You can often spot patterns or relationships in the data using a pivot table that you'd completely miss just looking at rows and columns in a spreadsheet.
So MIS gives managers the information and the tools to make better, more structured decisions based on higher quality data.
That's the goal. Improve the quality of the input, provide tools for analysis, and support better outcomes.
Okay, so we've talked about making decisions, the human factor, data quality, MIS support. But what happens when things go wrong, when you have a problem and you need to figure out why it's happening? Not just the symptom, but the real root cause.
Now you're talking about problem solving. And there's a fantastic, surprisingly simple tool for this called the 5 whys analysis.
5 whys? Sounds straightforward.
It is, but it's incredibly effective. The whole idea is to keep asking why, to drill down past the surface level issues and find what's really causing the problem.
How does it work in practice?
It's basically 4 steps. 1, identify the problem, get a clear, complete description of what's actually going wrong. 2, ask why. Why did this problem occur? 3, Keep asking why for each answer you get. Usually about 5 times gets you there, hence the name, but it might be fewer or more.
Just keep digging deeper with each why.
Exactly, until you feel you've hit the fundamental cause. And step 4 is important. Consult with others involved. Get agreement from the team or relevant people that, yes, this is the actual root cause we need to address before you jump into fixing it.
Can we walk through an example, maybe a common business one?
Sure. Let's say the problem is our online customer service ratings are dropping and we're getting complaints that discounts aren't being applied correctly at checkout.
Okay, a real headache for an online business. So first, why?
Why are ratings low? Well, because customers are frustrated. Their discounts aren't working.
Okay.
Second, why? Why aren't the discounts being applied? Let's say it's because the website's promotion code system has bugs.
Right. Third, why?
Why does the system have bugs? Maybe because the programmers haven't finished coding the logic for a new set of complex discount rules. Okay. Fourth, why? Why haven't the programmers finished coding it? Perhaps because the follow-up task to implement those specific rules after the initial feature launch was never formally assigned to them.
So it fell through the cracks. Fifth, why?
Why was there no follow-up assignment? Maybe because there isn't a clear established process for managing and tracking these kinds of smaller coding implementations after a major release. Boom.
So the root cause isn't really bad programmers or even a buggy system in isolation.
It's a process problem, a lack of a defined workflow for managing those follow-up tasks. Fixing just the bug won't prevent similar issues later if the process isn't fixed.
That makes so much sense. Asking why repeatedly gets you past the symptom.
Precisely. Once you've used something like the 5 whys to nail down that root cause, then you can start designing effective solutions.
And designing solutions involves what?
Well, a solution is just your method for overcoming the identified problem. It means figuring out what you know and what you don't know about the situation, organizing all that information meaningfully. It also usually involves thinking about multiple possible ways forward, creating a few different plans or options.
Not just jumping at the first idea.
Ideally not. And then, of course, figuring out how to allocate your resources, money, people's time, effort efficiently to implement the chosen solution.
But choosing which solution to go with, especially if you've come up with a few alternatives, that sounds tricky too.
It can be one of the hardest parts for a manager. You have these hopefully well-defined alternatives. You need to compare them based on specific criteria. What are the benefits of each? What are the costs? What are the advantages, the disadvantages?
Weighing the pros and cons.
Exactly. Yeah. But trying to objectively measure those pros and cons, the real strengths and weaknesses of each potential path, especially for complex problems with lots of uncertainty, that's really challenging.
Yeah, I can see that. It's rarely black and white.
Very rarely. Which brings us nicely to a sort of capstone framework for the whole decision process, developed by Nobel laureate Herbert Simon. It's a 4-stage approach to decision-making.
Herbert Simon.
Yeah.
Okay, 4 stages. What are they?
Stage 1 is intelligence. This isn't about IQ, it's about gathering intelligence, like in the military sense, discovering, identifying, and really understanding the problem. Why does it exist? Where is it happening? What are its impacts? It's all about that initial information gathering and problem definition.
Like our data quality discussion and the 5 whys fit in here?
Absolutely. Then comes stage 2, design. Now that you understand the problem, you start identifying and exploring potential solutions. You brainstorm, you discuss different alternatives, you maybe model different scenarios. You're designing possible ways out.
Generating options.
Right. Stage 3 is choice. Here, you take those potential solutions you designed and you evaluate them. You consider them, measure them against your criteria, costs, benefits, risks, alignment with goals, and ultimately, you select the one you believe is the most viable, the best path forward.
Making the actual decision.
Yes, but it doesn't end there. Stage 4 is implementation. You take the chosen solution, you put it into action.
Yeah.
And this is key in the model. You then monitor its effectiveness. Is it actually working as you expected?
And if it's not?
That's the beauty of Simon's model. It's not strictly linear. If the solution isn't working, the monitoring phase triggers a reevaluation. You might loop back to the design stage to tweak the solution, or even back to the intelligence stage if you realize you misunderstood the problem initially.
So it's a cycle, really, a learning process.
Exactly. It emphasizes that decision-making isn't just a single event. It's an ongoing process of gathering intelligence, being creative in design, making a choice, implementing, and then learning from the results to adapt.
Wow. That's a really comprehensive way to think about it, from understanding the types of decisions, the human element, the critical need for good data.
To using tools like the 5 whys
Hmm.
to find root causes and structuring a whole process with something like Simon's 4 stages.
It really paints a full picture. What an incredible deep dive into making decisions. For you, listening in, especially Dr. Sampak College of Business students, getting your head around these frameworks, structured versus unstructured, information quality, these analysis tools, Simon's model, this isn't just abstract theory.
Not at all. These are the practical tools, the ways of thinking that will genuinely empower you. They'll help you make smarter, more informed decisions, whether it's in your coursework now, an internship, or definitely in your future career.
Yeah, each of these ideas, these methodologies, they give you a way to approach complexity, to bring structure to uncertainty. They help you move from just making decisions to making truly effective decisions.
Becoming a more strategic thinker, really.
Absolutely. So, as you think about everything we've covered today, all these tools and processes, here's something to mull over. What aspect of business decision-making do you think is the most challenging, and why is that?
That's a great question. We'd love to hear your perspective. Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, definitely share your thoughts.
And thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope you feel a bit more equipped to tackle those complex decisions when they come your way.
And please, if you found this valuable, do us a favor. Hit like, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us for more deep dives like this, and maybe share it with a friend or colleague who could benefit.
Your engagement really does help us keep these conversations going.
It does indeed. Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.